Hi and welcome back to the channel. This is the video where I tell you how you, the audience, voted for the movies that were listed for me to review. So I had this deal where I was going to review 10 of the 33 movies that I showed you in a video a little while back, and I'll post up a link here. And the audience has selected the 10. Now, I'm not going to review them in this video. That's going to be the next video, which will be out within 24 hours. This one is just the score. Now, I'm going to go from the bottom up. Some of the movies I've already reviewed. The last 4 I haven't. It's interesting the way people think. Before I start, thank you to everybody who voted. I like the fact that people thought about it. Before I start, thank you to everybody who voted. I really like the fact that people cared enough to vote, thought about the choices that were given, and decided what they wanted me to review. So thank you again to everybody who went to the community tab and filled out the questionnaire. A Tennessee Williams adaptation where Warren Beatty plays a gigolo, and it was The Roman Spring of Mrs. Stone with Vivian Leigh and Warren Beatty, and it's an early 1960s movie. It's a bit of a chick flick, and I wasn't expecting it to do very well, and I was right in that. 2 votes. 2. 1, 2. That's it. So it got 2 votes. In fact, the next 2 are what could be considered chick flicks, or women's films more correctly. The next movie got 6 votes, and that was 3 Coins in the Fountain. I didn't expect that to do well. In fact, I don't like 3 Coins in the Fountain as much as I like the unofficial remake of it that was made in the early 1960s with Anne Margaret in it. It's called The Pleasure Seekers. Much more fun film and much less kind of 1950s tight ass than 3 Coins in the Fountain, but that got 6 votes anyway. It Started in Naples got 6 votes as well, which is a movie starring Sophia Loren and a rapidly aging Clark Gable. Now, Clark Gable had some problems during the making of the film. It was filmed on the island of Capri. It's beautifully shot. Nice film. But Gable ate so much pasta he got fat. And so that kind of shows his weight varies during the film, which is a bit of an odd thing. But it's very much a part of maybe the good Italian food. But I kind of like It Started in Naples. You get to see Sophia Loren sing, but that only got 6 votes, so it's not going to get reviewed. I may well write a review of it for the Patreon subscribers, so there's always that possibility with each of these films that didn't do very well in the voting. Next up with 6 votes as well, Raintree County. The movie with Montgomery Clifton, Elizabeth Taylor in it. It's got Lee Marvin, it's got Rod Taylor. Big sprawling saga of kind of mid-late 19th century America. It was a movie that was really troubled. It didn't make any money for MGM at the time, but it's a kind of interesting flick anyway. Next up with 7 votes is the Vincente Minnelli film, Some Came Running, with Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Shirley MacLaine. That movie's got great cinematography, and I like the drama in it. I like Dean Martin's role in it because he plays a very atypical role for Dean Martin. I want to kind of wait until I can get a Blu-ray of that before I look at it in more depth for anything. I may well review it for the Patreon subscribers. But that one also gets a mention in Martin Scorsese's 3-part documentary about the history of American cinema. And if you haven't seen that documentary, you're really missing out. Next up are The Happening, the kind of pseudo-hippie movie from the 1960s with Anthony Quinn and Faye Dunaway in it. That got 8 votes. Didn't do particularly well. It's not a particularly well-known film, so I wouldn't expect it to do any better than that. But if you get an opportunity to and you want to check it out, it's worth checking out as well. Next one, Carol Baker and George Maharis in Sylvia. Sylvia I like a lot. I think it's a real hidden gem of 1960s cinema. And I would like to see someone like Imprint or Criterion do a decent version of this, because I think there's a lot to say about that film. And I think it's a movie that plays better to a modern audience than it did to a 1960s audience. It's got tons of cameos from all sorts of celebrities. I kind of like the core of the film, which is the investigator played by George Maharis and the character Sylvia played by Carol Baker. If you get a chance to see that, check it out. Next up, Vice Squad with Wings Hauser. 1980s exploitation. Haven't seen it for a long time, and I was kind of looking forward to seeing it, but it only got 8 votes. And I may well look at that movie anyway, and I may write a review for it. 10 votes for Espresso Bongo, the movie with Lawrence Harvey and Cliff Richard playing a kind of teenage pop star, which is an enormous stretch for Cliff Richard as an actor. Very funny movie with a script by Wolf Mankiewicz. There was a BFI Blu-ray edition of this put out a couple of years ago in England. And if you like 1950s, 1960s cinema, you're going to like that one. Next up, The World of Susie Wong, which had Nancy Kwan and I think William Holden in it. Be interesting to see that film. I think there's going to be some interesting racial politics in it. But I haven't seen it for a very, very long time, and I was looking forward to rewatching it, which again I may do. But yeah, that one was one that I kind of half hoped would score enough to get into the top 10, but unfortunately it didn't. Next up, Lady in the Lake, the Robert Montgomery adaptation of the Raymond Chandler novel, which was shot entirely in first-person point of view from Philip Marlowe's point of view. That one you should check out if you're a film noir person, if you're a person who likes old movies. Lady in the Lake is a definite weird little outlier that you really should check out. Next up, Scaramouche, 1952 MGM movie with Stuart Granger, Mel Ferrer, Janet Leigh, Eleanor Parker looking as beautiful as she ever did. It's got swashbuckling. It's based on the Raphael Sabatini novel. Scaramouche is a kind of comfort film for me because it always used to turn up on Sunday afternoons. I think on Channel 9. And it was one of those perennial movies they'd rotate every couple of years so that you could get a little bit of swashbuckling action. Violent Saturday got 13 votes. Violent Saturday is a really interesting Technicolor kind of film noir detective movie with Victor Mature, Ernest Borgnine, I think Richard Egan's in it as well. Really nice small crime drama, which you should see if you haven't. I've got a copy of it here. I think it's down there somewhere. And yeah, I like Violent Saturday a lot. A lot of these movies I'm going to rewatch anyway because looking at the books on the shelf upon which they were based, I kind of found my love for them again. And I may well watch a lot of these films very, very soon. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas got 16 votes. Now, yes, it's got Johnny Depp in it, and he is intensely problematic, but it is a Terry Gilliam movie. It is based on a Hunter S. Thompson, not even novel, more a Romana Clay kind of gonzo journalism, odyssey into the dark heart of America kind of thing. I love Hunter S. Thompson's writing, always have. And this one is one that I think you can have a lot to say about. Let's see. BenHur got 16, biblical epic. Biblical epics I've got a kind of fraught relationship with. I saw a lot of them on Saturday afternoon matinees in cinemas when I was a kid. Never bought the theology, but I always liked the action. And this one I like for Stephen Boyd more than I like for Charlton Heston. It's an epic, but I'm not too sure it convinced too many people to become Christian. Confessions of an Opium Eater / Souls for Sale. The kind of beatnik poetry, 19th century or early 20th century, set in San Francisco, Vincent Price movie about people smuggling and all sorts of other things. I'm going to have to do something with that in the future, I think, because it's just such a weird and yet wonderful movie, which doesn't really play by any of the rules of its time and is glorious for that. So that one got 17 votes. So did The Hustler, which is surprised me a little bit. I would have thought Hustler would be a bit further up the list. Really great film, based on the Walter Tevis novel with Paul Newman, Jackie Gleason in a fantastic role as Minnesota Fats, Piper Laurie. It's just a really gritty and intelligent drama. Easy Rider got 18 votes. Easy Rider I've talked about a little bit before. Easy Rider is one of the archetypal movies of the late 1960s. It's got documentary aspects to it. It's got a quest for meaning. It's got a reason not to trust people in pickup trucks. It's really, Easy Rider is just one of those movies that's got to be in your collection. I'm still waiting on my 4K Blu-ray of that one, and I'm going to just sit back and enjoy it when it gets here. It really is a movie I can watch again and again and enjoy every couple of years with no effort at all. The Argus Action got 19 votes. Clint Eastwood movie, a good spy movie. The novel by Trevannion is really good to read as well. It's got a nice plot. I don't think the action scenes on the mountains were particularly well done because it's difficult to film action scenes on the side of a mountain in the Swiss Alps. But I like the characters. I like people like Thea David playing Dragon, the spy master who sends Jonathan Hemlock, the Clint Eastwood character, out. It's got George Kennedy in it. It's got a number of other good character actors in it, and I'm going to rewatch that one at some stage as well. I've got it. I can actually see it up on the shelf behind the camera there. Blackboard Jungle, 20 votes for Blackboard Jungle. It almost got there. Based on the Evan Hunter novel with Glenn Ford, Sidney Poitier, really kind of one of the first juvenile delinquent movies. Didn't quite get there, unfortunately, which is a real shame. A Kiss Before Dying, the one with Robert Wagner playing a guy who murders women in the 1950s. Nice film. I really want to rewatch that one too, because at the moment I've got a real mojo for widescreen kind of CinemaScope cinematography, and that movie's got that. I really want to watch that one again. All of these ones I want to watch again. It's been difficult just to kind of narrow it down to 10 because I picked well. That's all I can say is I picked these movies very well. Kiss Before Dying got 21. There are 3 movies that got 21 votes, and one of them got in. I'll explain that in a moment. The second one that got 21 votes is The Guns of Navarone. And the third one is Judgment at Nuremberg. So what I did was I got my smart speaker to pick a number between 1 and 3, and I numbered the 3 of them that were equal 21 votes. And one of the movies got up. And I'm not going to tell you which one because that's the subject of the next video. 22 votes for The Hill, the 1965 Sidney Lumet movie, which has got a killer cast. It's got Sean Connery, it's got Ian Bannon, it's got Ian Hendry, it's got Harry Andrews in it, it's got Ossie Davis. Set in a military prison in North Africa during World War II. That one is in the next video, and I'm going to review that one, but stick around for that because that is a hell of a movie. Now, 24 votes for The Man Who Will Be King, another Sean Connery movie that's going to be in the next video. Based on the Rudyard Kipling story, directed by John Huston, also starring Michael Caine and Saeed Jaffrey. I watched that one last night, and I'm going to kind of save my ammunition on that one. And that one's in the next video as well. Really interesting film. The Long Good Friday got 25 votes. I've already reviewed that one. If you go back a couple of videos, you can see my review of The Long Good Friday. Bob Hoskins being fantastic, Eddie Constantine's in it, Helen Mirren. One of the great British crime films. The Night Walker also got 25 votes, and I've talked about that one. Based on a Robert Bloch story, written with the screenplay by Robert Bloch. Starring Barbara Stanwyck in her last feature film role, and Robert Taylor's in there as well, Hayden Rourke. I've talked about that one, so I won't say anything more. Black Sunday, the action film with Robert Shaw and Bruce Dern, got 26 votes. Gaslight got 29 votes. Talked about Gaslight. The Parallax View got 30. Get Carter also got 30, but the winner, the movie that got the most votes for me to review on the channel, was The 7% Solution, the Herbert Ross film with Nicole Williamson playing Sherlock Holmes, Robert Duvall playing Dr. Watson. It's got a good supporting cast. Joel Grey's in there as well, Samantha Eggar, Vanessa Redgrave. You've got Alan Arkin playing Sigmund Freud. I'm not going to talk about it because that's in the next video. So there's the list of, I think, 32 movies that I put up for people to select. Thank you again to everybody who selected the movies. And I will just finish it here because I want to get on with recording the video where I review the last 4 films that you selected. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. You can also support the channel at patreon.com/paleocinema. I've got the best viewers. I've got the best subscribers as well. You guys really keep me on my toes. When I get something wrong, you'll tell me, and I will freely admit that I don't always get everything right, even though I do try to. So thank you very much for that. Look after yourselves. Watch some good movies, watch some bad movies. Definitely watch the movies on this list. And I'll catch you next time.